friends. This has been a fascinating day, and I haven't done a look what I found video in a long time. Today was a day that didn't start out to be a day looking for treasures. My friend and buddy Gil Alberg picked me up about 8:30 today and took me to my follow-up post-op surgery appointment, which went fine. Everything is going fine. The doctor's pleased that I don't have to come back unless a problem arises. So that was great news. But on the way over to the doctor's office, we're driving down the road and I said, "Gil, what is that over there?" And he pulled off the road and this chair was there thrown away. Now this is a very old chair. It's put together with wooden pegs. And I'm thinking 1880s, 1890s, 1880s. And I love the fact that it has crosses carved into it. Can you see those? And these arm pieces. But it also has what I think is the original needlepoint, I think is what you call it, cover on the seat. So I think that was a very, very nice find. I had no idea why anybody would throw a chair like this away. Ornate, kind of a Gothic style. And again, as I said, I think it's probably 1880s. Looks like it might be mahogany wood. Not sure. Very fancy. Kind of stuff I love. Well then, after that, after the appointment, Gil was going to take me over to my bank, and I asked him if he'd mind stopping into Habitat for Humanity for a moment. And because there's always interesting things in there. And so we did, and they had a sale on books. They're normally anywhere from $1 to $2 a piece. They were 10 cents a piece today. And I added some books that I consider to be real treasures, and I want to show you some of those. Now this sweet little volume needs a little bit of work done to it, which I'll take care of, but it's German, and it is has some nice things inscribed in it. This is from 1903. I love the gold cross and the beautiful, almost like tooled work on the cover. The spine is wonderful looking, but I need to repair that. And then there's a chalice on the back cover. These older German books just fascinate me because they took such care in the details that they did. And it's just a wonderful old volume. I don't read German, doesn't matter. It's a wonderful old book. Now there was a second German book there, and it says, well first, it doesn't have quite as fancy a cover as the other one, but it's N.Y.A. Testament. So it is what it is. I assume the New Testament. Now inside, there were a few little bits and pieces like this little die-cut sticker, and some inscribing in it. It's inscribed in 1901, but the book itself was published in 1899, and I collect Bibles, so here's a really cool German New Testament. Now I just flipped this open, I didn't even know this was in here. There's a cutout paper doll figure. And so it's one of the things which is really cool about old books are the things that you can find inside of them. So that looks almost like a Robinson Crusoe type figure. I didn't know that was there till just now. There are other little bits and scraps and things in here, but even a little piece of blue cloth I suppose they were using for a bookmark. Very nice little antique vintage New Testament in German. Then, oh gosh, where to go next? Where to go next? This is called The Sampo by Baldwin. It's not an ornate cover, but I love this kind of cover. This and the end papers in it are really quite pretty. This has extensive repairs done in it. It was published in 1922. It has some really fine, nice illustrations in it, Art Nouveau, and it's called Heroes of the Olden Time, The Sampo, A Wonder Tale of the Old North by James Baldwin. illustrated by N.C. Wythe, who did beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And it was published by Charles Scribner's Sons in New York. And I already told you the date, what did I say, I said, okay, it's this page, the title page says 1922. The original copyright on it, though, was 1912. But very nice. As I said, there's extensive repairs in it, but there are also quite a few of those Wythe illustrations. Let me find another one to show you here. Here's one. This is called The Slave Boy. And I think there's probably about 10 or 12 illustrations in here. This one is really cool. It's called The Hag of the Rock. I hope you can see that. Very nicely done vintage book. Kind I love. Then, I love local, or Michigan and local histories. And this book was there, Sebring 150th Anniversary, Sebring Township 1853 to 2003. And this is a story of the township of Sebring here, not too far from where I live here in Michigan, loaded with pictures and historical information that just is a fascinating read, and I will probably be sharing some of that with you sometime. Sebring, like Saginaw, where I live, was one of the power players in the lumber industry of the Saginaw in the 1800s, and it was quite the hub of activity, as was Saginaw. Saginaw actually was the lumber capital of the world at one time in the 1870s, 1880s. So that was a really good find. Also, local history. This is a good one too. Indians, Jacks, and Pines. Now, I have this, I read this book and did a video of the reading of this book with the illustrations from it, which is here on the channel if you want to look that up. If you'd like to hear the whole book, it's Indians, Jacks, and Pines. Just put it into the search engine, and I have it on there, on here on my channel. But this is a History of Saginaw by Stuart D. Gross, and it was published in 1962. I remember when it came out, everybody was so excited about this book. And I can see why, because it was nicely done. It starts out with Before the White Man Came, and talks about the Indian life in chapter 2. It's just an awesome book, The Indian Hunter, and it will get into later into the virgin pine forests, the white man comes, and the lumbering industry. Really great book. I was so pleased to find that. I went to a yard sale a number of years ago, well, about 10 or 12 years ago now, and I bought a box of these, of that particular book, and ended up selling them on eBay, or again giving away some to friends of mine that collect local histories. Now, how about looking next at the beginnings of our country? And this is by Burnham and Jack, it says. It was published in 1932 by the John C. Winston Company. Oh, I love this illustration of Washington, Lafayette, and Steuben at Valley Forge. Beautiful, beautiful illustration. And that was from a painting by J.L.G. Ferris. And it's just, throughout the book, there are many illustrations that are colored like this. But it's fascinating. And there was one in particular, if I can find it, that I wanted to show you. It was a Betsy Ross, but I don't think I'm going to be able to find it right off now. But a wonderful book, that I'll enjoy having in my collection here. A 6-Cylinder Courtship. Love the cover, by Edward Salisbury Field. And this, look at the end papers here, beautiful butterflies, very Art Nouveau, and it has a 6-cylinder car driving up on plant. I don't know, it's really cool. It's inscribed, "Wishing you a Merry Xmas and a Happy New Year, Ben, 1908. And it was published, I think it has the copyright date in here. It was published in 1907. And very, very good condition. Very nice inside. Check this illustration out. This is Marion Standish, one of the characters in the book. And she's also on the front cover. But in the early days of motor carring, many books, the fascination was tremendous in the United States and throughout the world, actually, with the motor car when it first came out. And many works of fiction were based on the motor car. And here's there are black and white illustrations in here too, nice like steel engravings. And each page has that butterfly motif, and again, it is very Art Nouveau. Very nice book, in very good shape. And that was published by, for those of you who would like to know, Grosset and Dunlop, excuse me. So, another one that I was really pleased to add to my collection. Then, I'm not going to show you all of this because there are so many. But I want to show you a couple more here. When I was a kid back in the 60s, there was a series of books out. I don't know what the series itself was actually called, but I have number 3, 8, and 10 here. And again, I love how the books from when I was a kid were illustrated. This is called The Heroes by Charles Kingsley. It was Classic Press Incorporated, published in Santa Rosa, California. Illustrated by Ron King and cover by Don Irwin. And it is copyright 1968. So I would have been 13 years old when this one came out. But it's a kind of book that I would have enjoyed having at the time. It's a funny sounding paper, but the illustrations are all in black and white, but the illustrations are very cool. This one is how Jason lost his sandal in Anaros. And it's just, there's a lot of classic stories in here. Wonderful book, wonderful series. The next one I'm showing you from that same series is Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. Collodi, I think that's how you say it. Nice illustration, nice color illustrated cover with the boy with the growing nose. And it's translated by Joseph Walker and illustrated by William Dempster. The cover again was by Don Irwin, and again was published in 1968. A very nice children's book. And again, it's one that I would have enjoyed owning at that time. Even has a part back here making the hand puppet. There's kind of two. Oh, here comes my little comet. You come say hi? And then, lastly on from that set is Arabian Nights by Andrew Lang. And a really neat cover again with the genie here and I forget this little dude's name, but and written by Andrew Lang, illustrated by William Dempster again, and again published in 1968. Very typical mid to late 1960s artwork. And again, the inside artwork is all in black and white, but it's very, very nicely done and so typical of that era. Unfortunately, there's no stamps in this, but this modern postage stamp album will go nicely into my stamp collection. It was published in 1930, and somebody removed all the stamps out of it, which is fine. It's still a nice collectible piece from the history of stamp collecting. It was nicely illustrated, and that was published by who? Oh, Scott Stamp and Coin Company Limited, and again, 1930. The United States had only a small section in here at this time, but it covers postage stamps of the world. Hi there, Comet. This is my little girl back here, Comet. She's a little sweetie. She's a lover. Okay, then at Habitat for Humanity, Gil got me this collection of marbles. I don't know if you can see that. I can't tip it, too much. There were over 200 of them in there, and they're from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. some beautiful boulders, just all kinds of magnificent, beautiful colors. And I hope you can see some of them. Actually, in a minute I will tip the camera so that you can see more of the colors. There are a lot more books. I'm not going. There's a first edition, The Poetry of Robert Frost, edited by Edward Conry Latham, published by Holt Reinhardt Winston, and it is a stated first edition. Now, I would assume it would have had a dust jacket when it was released for sale. This does not have the dust jacket. It is copyright 1967, and I know that Frost's work, I think, is older than that. But anyways, it is a stated first edition, and so for a dime, I couldn't not bring it home, you know what I mean? The King with Six Friends by Jay Williams, illustrated by Amerio Gabato. And here, this is another, not in that same series, but a similar series. The King with Six Friends by Jay Williams, illustrated by, oh, I already said that. Published by Parents Magazine Press, New York, and it was published in 1968. Now this one has nice color illustrations throughout, whereas the other books were black and white. It just, you know, I think you'd gravitate more to the color than you would just seeing them in black and white, but that's cool. You're Safe and Sound. There's this really cute little book, Albert Payson Terhune's Two Dog Stories, etchings by Diana Thorne. This is a cool little book, and it's got some really neat illustrations in it. Some little kid had to scribble in the title page. It's from 1936, Southfield Publishing Company. Check that out. Is that not cute? And then that's... Now I've taken the camera off the tripod so I could show you these a little bit better, the marbles. Check that. I still, you can't see how beautiful they are. Though. So many different kinds, so many colors. As I said, from the 1950s through the 1970s. And there's over 200 of them there. And I've always loved marbles. And thing is, Gil does too. But he bought them for me for Christmas, which I thought was pretty nice. So, that's the marbles. And while I've got this off the camera, hold on just one moment. Okay, while I've got that off the camera, here are some close-ups of the designs on the chair. I love the cross motif and the little finial type pieces. Very nicely done. There's a bit of a close-up of the needle point work that was done on it. And I can see that my little... No scratchy. No scratchy. No. She is very persistent. You cannot do that. But I love you. Okay, good girl. And it's put together with wooden pegs. The only area of damage on it is one small... Stop that! Juno, or Comet. I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to have to put something on the seat so she doesn't destroy it. She is so determined. Alright, anyways, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope I didn't bore you. Love you all much and always well. See you real soon. God bless. Bye-bye.